Welcome to the Outdoor Test Kitchen Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, along with Tim, and together we'll be discussing all things cooking, camping, and everything in between. We've got an exciting episode in store for you this week, so let's get started.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back. Hope everybody's had a great week so far.
It's hot.
Yeah, that's how our week's been. Very hot.
Yeah.
Well, it is, August, and we're in the south, so...
Sun's down, still 93 degrees.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But, hey, that's why in the summertime we have been really concentrating on making cold dinners.
Yeah.
i.e. sandwiches, salads. There's a lot of good meals that a good hot meal is great. Don't get me wrong, but on a hot summer day, sometimes a good old-fashioned cold sandwich and some potato chips
Yeah.
hits a spot better than a big old steak and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, because, when you're already so warm and you eat a heavy meal like that that's warm as well, it's literally warming you up inside. So it's a lot nicer to have like a pasta salad and a sandwich or something rather than...
That's totally true. And, obviously, I have extra insulation, so I don't need any more heat into my body. but also the other day, I did a nice little smoked salmon.
Oh, yes.
With some just crackers and made kind of like a little smoked salmon board with little diced sweet onions, capers, some dill, chives.
Just all around deliciousness.
Little cream cheese. Just had a whole spread out that actually it was good. In fact, I picked up some more smoked salmon.
I saw that.
Yes. And yes, you can smoke your own salmon, but
yeah, actually,
sometimes the convenience factor of just picking up a pack is pretty nice.
Yeah, what can we say?
But if we were out at a campsite and we were like, you know what, we're gonna do smoked salmon, we would,
we would do that.
Build our little smoker and smoke a nice fillet of salmon.
And that's right, we said build, because one time we actually smoked some catfish, and we just...
It was really good.
It was actually like really good.
We made some little like smoked catfish wraps.
Yeah.
And we had our little tartar. We have a creamy tartar sauce for, and that was a really good and simple.
It was, and we actually built the smoker out of the camp stove. We just used some foil. Put it over the top or on the sides to kind of keep that smoke in, but gave the little air gaps.
And yes, and made sure the smoke moved over. The fire wasn't directly underneath the catfish because smoking catfish, they're very thin fillets. So if your heat's directly under them, you'll end up grilling them and not smoking them.
Yeah, that is the harder thing about actually cooking with an open fire.
It is, but it's also kind of the fun of, camping. And that's the fun of cooking at the campsite and not just doing the same old. Cooking is an activity.
It is.
That is fun and enjoyable and something you can get the whole family and your friends all involved in while you're out camping. Because, that's what it is.
It is.
Building an awesome experience.
It's true. It's totally a big part of the outdoor experience.
Yes, so and right now we're in the heat of it all. So I have noticed on some of the daily hikes at our little local park, state park we go to, the reservations are a little less, which is understandable.
Makes
down
sense.
Here in the south. It gets pretty hot and humidity and. Unless you have a nice RV with full AC.
Even then, some of these ACs aren't pushing enough BTUs to...
Yes, and most of those RVs aren't actually properly insulated.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, on a side note of, speaking of seeing some RVers and, the whole community of the outdoors that we're kind of focused on, I did see a really cool schoolie on a little short bus the
Oh,
other day when I was out there hiking and driving
that's
around.
that's cool.
And the schoolie people there is a cool crowd.
They are.
We had a school bus at one time that we were building out,
And
but
that was a hassle.
yes, we stripped it all down, but we kind of abandoned it. So I respect all you schoolie builders. Although after clearing it out, we doubled our money when we sold it to somebody.
We did.
But they were turning it into a schoolie, and she's an occupational nurse that
Yeah.
traveled around, and so at least it went to a good home. And we
It
did
did.
all the
It did. Although,
horrible work of stripping out.
yeah, and the channels that all of the seats locked into were airline riveted into, and there was like so many.
Oh my goodness! I mean, we still have some of the channels
Yeah.
way up there top. You can't see, but there's storage on top of this set that we still have them up there.
Yeah, there was like a rivet every 2 inches.
Yes, and drilling them out, and they were all stainless steel rivets, so finding the drill bits that didn't just burn up, and then chiseling. Oh, but hey, I'm happy to say it went to someone that is,
Using it.
and that's why I give so much props and respects to all the schoolie people out there living the outdoor life. And I was just thinking a lot of the schoolies are a lot better insulated because they like to spray foam them. And so they have a good insulation, and they'll put on those mini split units.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's, I don't know why the RV industry, why haven't they really figured out that really is a more efficient way than the top mounted typical RV air conditioners that one and one of my past RVs, dude, when it was on, it was so loud. Yes, it got it cold, but it was, you
Needed.
didn't really want it on for a little bit and then you want to turn it off. Otherwise, it is a
Needed some earplugs.
yes. So though those mini split units are pretty awesome, I will tell you. But I
Yeah.
know I was just recalling the schoolie, and I do
Oh,
respect
yeah.
those guys.
Definitely.
But then also speaking on things that we've been working on out here in the test kitchen this week, we're putting together a really, I think it's fun and cool. It's Boudin Enchiladas, which is kind of taken from our own roots, from being Cajun roots and our Tex-Mex roots. And even though enchiladas are, primarily originated from Mexico, but Tex-Mex, come on, enchiladas have.
Come on.
It's a perfect fusion too, and I think that's what's beautiful about food and how some people can say things of, no, that's what brings us together, and that's what has brought us together for millennia.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's kind of crazy though, the amount of things we've done with Boudin. Because we've done those Boudin egg rolls.
Oh yes, those. Yes,
Yeah.
at that one Cajun place, we rolled so many Boudin egg rolls. It was great Boudin. Came from, I think, Monroe, Louisiana.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And, the owner would go down and pick it up weekly, and we would roll thousands of those. Put a little, what is that, little cheese and stuff,
Yeah,
cook it all
little
down, and
cheese,
then roll it up
seasonings.
and fried it. Cool, and then we had a house sauce that went great with it. I won't say what it is, but you see me in person, I'll tell you. But it is great.
And they were actually so good, we ended up starting to sell them to other restaurants.
Yes. and-
That's why we rolled so many.
Yes, in fact, and that not too far from us, there is a restaurant that still buys them. And anytime I want a little, you know what, get a little Boudin egg roll fix, we'll head on down to that place. And although they don't have the house sauce that we made, but
Yeah. But the egg rolls are literally the same, so.
And Boudin is so great. I know it can have a bad rap for the fact that a lot of people think it's just the unwanted parts and then rice.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's still good.
it is. It's a poor man's sausage. I mean, that's what it was. The rice is the filler, and you use the leftover trimmings that you may not use for roast or, it's mainly pork. Or any way you would use that. So yes, it usually had the liver, but it would have some of the trimmings off of the other cuts. Mix it all together, and you add your rice to really give you the filling and spices, and put it in a nice hot casing. Oh, sorry, I love boudin.
Yeah, but that's also a lot of French and Cajun cooking is taking maybe the ingredients that aren't the best, but making it taste delicious.
Well, and I think that's the important thing on all cooking is no matter what you can or can't afford, you should always be trying to make it the best and most enjoyable experience for you and your family and nutritionists. So that's kind of, how all cooking should be. But unless you just want to eat garbage and go to McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, some of you might want to do that.
But it's not good for you.
It's not. And how can you afford that?
No kidding. I was listening to somebody, and they were talking about a Big Mac meal. Don't quote me, or you can quote me, but I haven't confirmed it because I don't remember the last time I've been to McDonald's. But nowadays, a average Big Mac meal, medium size, not even super size, is running like $12 and change. For that garbage, you can go to real restaurants and get a burger for cheaper than that.
Yeah, or McDonald's is supposed to be the place you're like, oh, I've got $5. Let me go get a meal.
Yeah, and not nutritious. Let me put something in my stomach so I don't feel like I'm starving.
Yeah. But
not anymore. So I don't know how they're still in business. They shouldn't be. That's just my opinion.
Well, they might not be any sometime soon. You never know. But with that boudin enchilada, we thought, something in our next segment might be a pretty good side to go with it.
Oh, yes, that's true.
It's time for the recipe of the week, where we break down one of our favorite recipes and give you guys all the details. So let's get cooking.
Well, that is right. It brings us to our recipe of the week that we talked about last week. But as you were saying, the boudin enchiladas that we're working on, we thought a really great side would be a slaw because the heaviness and the hotness of boudin, the sauce and everything, it's nice to have a fresh side compared to a heavy side like beans and rice and everything.
That typically go with enchiladas,
yes,
so we thought...
especially since it's a rice-based sausage, you don't need an added rice, so we thought that our green goddess slaw, made with our green goddess dressing, would be a perfect accoutrement to go with.
Yeah, it's just nice, light, fresh, lot of flavor.
It's a whole lot of flavor, and talk about freshness. It's primarily a little bit of mayo, Greek yogurt, and then pretty much all fresh herbs.
Yeah.
And it's a great base recipe that, say you don't like cilantro, well, you don't have to put it in there. You can switch it out to dill. It's basically getting the proportions of the different herbs, fresh herbs, that really make this dressing / sauce. It gives such a freshness, and
it does. There's just something about it that you get you a big old forkful or spoonful.
It puts a smile on your face. I'm not kidding. It's like, it's good. It's, I don't know. It's such a fresh tasting dressing, and not just that. You can use it for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you can use the green goddess dressing in so many different ways. Yes. I mean, we've put it on sandwiches. We've dipped chips in it. We've dipped veggies in it.
Veggies.
Of course, we made the slaw. I mean, you could probably add it into, well, really anything. You could put on corn.
Oh, that would actually be really good. Kind of a take on a street corn, but with that.
Like a Greek street corn.
Ooh, and then
That would be
crumbled
cool.
some feta cheese instead
Yeah.
of queso fresco. Okay, I need to make a note of that. Oh, I gotta make a note.
Okay, well, one of my favorite things about the recipe is just, like we've said, how fresh tasting it is, but also how simple and healthy it makes you feel. I don't know, I just
It truly
really,
is, because everything that goes in is good. Okay, maybe the mayo, but like
you can
depending on the
use
mayo,
Sir Kingston's.
you can make your own fresh mayo,
You can do that too?
and it's perfectly good. And the Greek yogurt, I am going to say, and I know it's Greek yogurt. It kind of makes me mad because it's gotten super popular and super it's the health craze. And so they use non-fats and everything. And I'm sorry, when you take fat out, you're not really being that much healthier. Just like no-fat mayo is really not any better for you than full-fat mayo. It just
Don't they
isn't.
usually add more sugar?
Yes, they add different things. I'm not sure on the whole Greek yogurt, but what they do lose is flavor.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's the key thing, is you do lose flavor.
and mouth taste, and you're losing a lot of the probiotics and the health benefits. So you want to find a Greek yogurt, and it's usually labeled like 5%. And that means it's been made with a whole milk instead of a skim milk. And from all our research and from tzatziki to everything that we use Greek yogurt, they're serious of no, use whole milk Greek yogurt. And I swear by it too, because we've tested them all, and there is a huge difference when using whole milk Greek yogurt compared to the skim milk or zero fat Greek yogurt. And I'm sorry, with all the, I know people are afraid of fats, but if they're a good fat, it's fine. And then again, in moderation, it's fine.
Yeah.
So us skipping out and
Animal fats typically aren't unhealthy for you.
yes, that's true.
I mean, it's
And it's a huge craze because dieting is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So of course that's what they want to push out to you. But
charge you more for using less.
yeah, because it takes more process to make it non-fat, and it doesn't taste as good. Sorry, that's it. But it is a simple recipe, and we're gonna go over it. It's nice that is with this formula, the herb mixture is really up to your own taste. So if you like a little tarragon, you can add a little tarragon to it. If you don't like thyme, you can not add the thyme. You can mix and match.
Or if
kinda
you don't have time.
the kind of the herb mix. But real quick, we'll knock down that recipe. It's 1 cup of Greek yogurt, whole milk, a cup of mayo, and I'm going to say if you kind of want to save on things, as we did our mayo test, and if you haven't seen that, go back to our last
Yeah, our last episode.
and check out the mayo test. And actually, I do recommend the Great Value brand mayo because it does have good flavor. We've used several different types.
All factors considered, Great Value is a good option. But
it is.
personally,
I
come
know.
on.
I know. Someone who. Sorry. But and then an important thing is 1 cup of parsley, and that's typically just buy whatever bunch you get, tear off the stems, chop it up. That equals about a cup.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Curly parsley, not flat leaf. Green onions, about a half a cup, and that's again by the little 50-cent bunch. Chop that up all the way down to the whites. that ends up being about a half a cup. So again, you're not having leftovers trying to make it where you use everything.
Yeah.
2 tablespoons of lemon juice, fresh squeezed. A tablespoon of a good olive oil. The one thing I do not recommend the Great Value organic olive oil. It has way too much of a pungent flavor that does overpower. So just have a nice light olive oil with this. And a clove of garlic, just kind of chop it up and crush it, throw it in. 1/4 teaspoon of smoked salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then a cup of your fresh herb mix. Now, we have found that thyme, oregano, basil, and cilantro is a great mix. Also, if you don't like cilantro, because I know there's some that would be soap allergy, replace that with fresh dill, and it is also amazing. And if you use the dill, it goes great as a nice little sauce on top of a grilled fish or baked fish, salmon, or anything of that nature.
And that's just something really cool about this recipe is, like, it's ingrained into the recipe that you make it your own, you know? Like we don't actually give you the measurements of each item.
No.
You just put like what you feel you would like.
We give you the basic ratio. You need a cup of
total
herbs, and destem them and then chop them up and then fill that cup. And the easiest thing about this is throw it all in your food processor.
Yeah.
Once you chop your herbs, give it a little bit of chop to help
make it a little
processor.
Yeah, make it easier on your food processor.
And destem as much as you can, so it doesn't get wrapped up in your processor.
Stringy and fibery.
But then once you throw everything into your processor, process it until it's pretty much smooth. It'll turn a nice kind of cool green color, and you'll see all the herbs, and it is one of my favorite sauces, and it's not just for slaw, it's not just for salad. It's very useful on a lot of things. From, like I said, we did steaks the other weekend. So it was great having it on the side of the stick. And fish is amazing with it.
I don't really think there's anything that's not good on. I think they're...
No, and I'm telling you, our sandwiches. I mean, even the tomato and onion sandwich with the slaw.
Ooh.
But then we made some other just like normal lunch meat type sandwiches, that chicken sandwich with that instead of mayo as the spread. Oh.
We did like that, avocado.
That turkey sandwich, the green goddess turkey sandwich. Oh,
yeah.
Forget about it. But yeah, so I encourage everybody. It's a simple recipe, and it really goes well with so many things, and it's very useful. And especially on the can side, it's something that may be a little different. And I'm telling you, you may see green goddess at the grocery store.
It's not the same.
Yeah, you don't want that. That just is a bunch of high fructose corn syrup and garbage.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's.
And admit it is good. It's what I kind of grew up on, but then I elevated to knowing how to make my own, and
there's just something about using fresh herbs that you can't get in a bottle.
And especially, Grandma Honey grows some of the best basil.
She does. She's really good at herbs.
What she does, gardener, but her basil is always on point, and it's the best for pestos. You add it to anything, and you're like, wow. Yeah. So,
yeah, that's true.
And again, for you RVers and campers and such, it's pretty easy to kind of grow your own little herb garden on the road. You can do it they have countertop gardens, the arrow gardens and whatnot, or I've seen it done in those little utility cleaning buckets that have the different compartments, and they have put dirt in there, and they grow their little herbs and sit them on their counters and next to the window, and so you can always have fresh herbs even on at the campsite.
Yeah, that's
I do recommend you giving this one a try. So, and
Yeah.
remember, we'll have it up on our website at outdoortestkitchen.org. Be sure to check that out.
Along with many other great
Oh
recipes.
yes, yes. So we're always updating. If y'all see something that you want us to try or work on, let us know. You can leave a comment or send us an email through the website, and we'll be sure to jump on that and see what we can come up with it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but yes, and it's a good time to remind everybody, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
All those things that you can do to help us out.
But and again, and that dressing is great on a super hot day because you know what?
Time for the news. Brought to you by OutdoorTestKitchen.org, the website that is there to help you with all your camping and cooking needs. Now, to the news. Well, like we said, it's hot out there.
Very
hot. But,
So
and
hot, in fact.
with the heat comes burn bans.
Ooh.
And I know last year we were in a burn ban pretty early.
Yeah.
We had the big drought and everything. It was pretty sucky.
It did.
We have been lucky this year that it's the first part of August and they are just going into effect right now.
Yeah, they just maybe a couple days ago rolled out the burn ban for our county.
Well, I think it was 2 days ago, but it was kind of strange. Excuse me. Like we could tell because it started in a county out beside us, and then boom, kind of started moving around. But where we were, we've had a little more rain for a little longer than some of the outlining counties. But the other day when I went by the park, I saw all the signs burn bans. And it was funny because I was talking to you the night before, like, yeah, no, there's no burn ban. We could go on a trip. I saw people had a great campfire.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure that was the day before.
It was because the next day I went out there, I went, oh, son of a. I was like, I guess it's a burn ban now.
Yeah. Although, I mean, to be completely honest, I don't really think I would have a fire on a night like tonight. It's 90-something degrees at night.
But, yes, but again, the usefulness of fires, one, it's great. You don't have to sit that close to it.
I mean, that's
But it does
true.
keep away insects from the smoke, and, and it gives that comfort of a nice little fire flickering in the back, which we all love. But
I mean, I love fire. I would want to have a fire, but I would want to be away from it.
yes, exactly. But it is important that, especially when it gets late into summer and the rain is a little more scarce until fall, is to really take note of if you're under a burn ban or if you're traveling somewhere, because, I mean, some of them are still out, some are just starting. But if you're a last-minute camping vacation, make sure you check wherever you're going if there's a burn ban or not.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be the cause of a giant forest fire.
Because you are liable. At least in Texas, you're liable.
Yes, and that's criminal and civil. So that would really ruin your camping vacation, I would say.
Could definitely ruin your year.
But it's also important for the environment. Now, I know burns are very important.
Yeah, they're very beneficial.
But we do them in a controlled manner. There are some other states that don't believe in controlled burns, but I won't point them out. They end up having more problems than if they did control burn. But when you do a control burn, it's in the appropriate time of the year where it's not everything's dried out and will go up like a tinderbox.
Yeah, you also, not only that, but you take out some of the brush.
Yes.
So you can control how far it can actually go.
And if you do those control burnings during burn bans, if somebody is being, not responsible, they're not going to cause as much damage as if you didn't do a control burn earlier in the year. But that's a whole different subject and different news topic. We're talking about burn bans of today. But it is, I do think it is important to pay attention because, yeah, you may be able to get away with it every now and then, but it's really not worth it for you. And definitely it's not worth it for your other campers, because if you start a fire, you could shut down that whole campsite. And then you're taking away the enjoyment of so many other people.
Yeah. And actually, you got to pay attention, too, because sometimes, like, the severity of the burn ban, sometimes, like, this little fire can we got over there, they won't even let you use that.
Yes, but that's why you need to also check the burn ban rules, because they do change. And most of the time, if you're going camping, even the feds and the states and even private people and counties will list what they're banning. It's usually anything that puts off ambers. So right now, our burn ban consists of open fire and charcoal. But gas, contained gas fires are allowed. And some of them will allow the little fire cans or the tiny little propane fire pits. But to err on the side of caution,
just double check.
Yes. And to make sure, because last year there was a point that they had 0 tolerance for even your Coleman stoves or
0 fires at all.
Yeah, like you better.
It was so dry that it is possible for whoopsie to happen.
So always just be mindful to check on those, especially when it gets late into the summer and it hasn't rained in a few weeks. You really want to be on a lookout for that. And to see what is banned, but have no fear. If you do enjoy that fire or the appearance of the fire and you don't want the heat, there's also a really fun project.
There is.
You can make your own little fire.
Yeah.
With spray foam, Christmas lights, and some twigs and spray paint. And
it actually turns out pretty nice.
It really does. We'll probably put a picture
somewhere up here.
Somewhere here.
Somewhere like right here.
To showing that the one that we built from last year, because it is so great to have that ambience of light and fire. And
it is. And in fact, we actually built it to go into like our little studio area, like our little office area.
Well, we built another one for that.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yes.
We built 2.
Yes.
I'm crazy.
That was, we wanted in the office a fireplace set up for Christmas, and we built a fireplace out of a bunch of bricks and stuff that we had laying around. So we built a fireplace and then made a little fake fire out of foam core, spray foam, Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of logs and had some shiny tool that blew around. And the fun part is just take yourself a Bluetooth speaker. You can find fire sounds, put it kind of underneath it, and then you hear it. You can see it, but you're not violating the burn ban.
Yep.
And there are a ton of how-tos and stuff on YouTube.
There are. I mean, you can just look up fake fire.
Yes. With spray foam.
They're
a lot of times they're for Halloween and other stuff, but they're really easy and for set building and stuff. We've done them for a lot of things. But it is fun, although be ready because Ranger or whatnot or Park Host may come out and say, hey, you're underneath the burn ban. What are you doing? No, it's okay. It's not real fire.
And that means you did a good job.
Yes. So, and it's a fun, if you got a family, or not, and you just want to have fun. It's a fun little side project you can do on a one day. So
Seriously.
if you got some craftiness in you, you can make your own fire and plug it up and it will flash. And
yeah. I mean, the longest part was waiting for the spray foam to settle.
Yes. And we used it for quite a while. Actually, it's sitting over there in a bunch of old props. And it still works to this day. And if we go camping in the next couple of weeks, which kind of been looking at a trip down to to Galveston or maybe Orange Beach. I don't know yet, but if it's under a burn ban, we'll definitely bring it with us so that we can have at least the fun of the feel of the fire. You know,
And maybe mess with the park rangers and stuff.
It looks really realistic. That's the goal. We want a ranger to come out. What are you doing? It'd be perfect. They came running out with a bucket of water and threw it on. Like, what are you doing? But that would be.
It would be terrible if they did that and then because the electricity and then it sparks. And
I'd be like, no, that's on you. We're not liable.
Oh, that would be very funny and terrible at the same time.
But yeah, so just remember that's a fun project too. We've made several of them. They're really easy and they're cheap, and I mean, so just remember, just because there's a fire ban doesn't mean you can't have a good time out at the campsite. And if you bring the materials out with you, you can make one at the campsite and use just the twigs and brush around you if it's allowed. So it could be a fun activity at the campsite, and then you could have.
Yeah, you're right. It might be kind of in a gray area, but you can't, in a Texas state park, you can't go forage for wood to burn, but can you forage for wood to...
Yes, well...
I don't know. We're not suggesting you do it, but...
No, but, hey, as it gets hot outside, just remember, always check your, if there's a burn ban. I think that's... And especially right now, they are starting to pop up all over.
And in general, just be careful with fire. I mean, you can mess up a lot.
Oh, that is true. Well, guys, I think that is it's the outdoor, not the right button, but there we go. We'll get back on that. We got to put some better labels.
But yes, thank y'all for joining us again. It's always fun,
and let's keep on, send in the comments and emails and everything. Let us know. Yeah. Don't forget to check out our website at outdoortestkitchen.org. We got a bunch of recipes, and we're still steadily working on it to make it a usable tool for all you guys. And if there's anything that you would like to see on it, let us know. And remember to check us out every Thursday. We have a new podcast.
12 p.m.
Don't forget, check out our Instagram. We post reels and pictures and just a little different adventures that we go on throughout the weeks.
And Facebook, too, if you're a Facebook user.
Facebook. Definitely. And, guys, I hope everybody has a great week, even though it's super hot. But, hey, still enjoy the outdoors.
Make the best of it.
Yeah, I guess we'll see you next Thursday. But remember, like, subscribe,
comment,
give us
everything,
a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Either way,
give us
whatever
a thumbs
you think.
down. Let us know what you'd like us to change.
Yeah.
And so, again, have a great week. And remember, keep camping and keep cooking.
Yeah.